everybody. Thanks for joining Mike and myself in our Carpool Conversation, and really hope that you enjoy. So I wanted to ask Mike, what is his approach when a client perhaps comes to him with a situation where they feel they're really stuck? They've got these two different sides happening in their lives where there's something they really want to do, say like a relocation, or perhaps a changing career or job, but then there's this other side of them that's just holding them back, and they're stuck. How would you take a client through something like that?
Yeah, look, I think every situation will be very different, but I think what that person's experiencing is quite common to most of us. What we want and the effort or the sacrifice or the risks involved in getting what we want can cripple us. So I suppose the first thing that you really want to try and support and help a person with is, how strong is the desire, how strong is the want. And the stronger the potential destination is, the more likely they'll be able to push against the concerns that they might be experiencing. So Simon Sinek is famous for the compelling why. When the why is strong enough, the how becomes less of a challenge. Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah, I think you do need to be very aware of what is that destination, what is that picture you're painting for yourself that you desire to move towards.
Yeah.
It has to be, you have to have some kind of vision of what that looks like.
Yeah, and a big thing is, one of the most powerful questions we can ever ask ourselves and ask another person is, what do you want? And sometimes we don't really know what we really want. So as a result, because of that confusion, it's going to make it more difficult for you to launch. And linked to the question, what do you want? You just want to really make sure who wants it. Is it really you that wants it, or are you wanting something because somebody else wants it? And that's also going to trip you up. But having said that, we need a strong, compelling destination. But the next thing is, Adam Grant powerfully says these words. He says, people stop dreaming about the destination if they don't have a path. And we need to then understand, what are our next steps? Do you know what you need to do next, and possibly what you need to do after that next? So what's the next after the next? So that it also gives you a sense of belief in the journey.
Yeah, when you said you would ask them, what do you want? I've often found people come from a place of what they don't want. So it's almost away from pain approach instead of a towards approach of what do you want.
So well put. And interesting question to ask yourself is, what's the cost of maintaining the status quo? And when we understand the cost of just staying the same, the cost of not launching, the cost of not moving in the direction of your dreams, we might find the energy. So in other words, I think I'm with you, man. It's you're looking at the opportunity. What is the opportunity if you move? But here's another thought, which is actually very important, and it's the hard part. Any aspiration or dream we have tends to be a hard part. There's an interesting verse in the New Testament in Scripture where Jesus actually says these words: "No man builds a tower without considering the cost of building the tower." It's just sort of pretty simple. And if I want to run the Comrades, if I have a dream of running the Comrades, there's a cost to running the Comrades. It could mean early mornings. It could mean changing your diet. And sometimes we don't reckon with the cost. What's the cost of the aspiration? Now, if I don't reckon with the cost, when suddenly I come up against adversity, I'm probably going to just give up. I'm going to say, oh, I wasn't expecting this to be so hard. But when you say to yourself, what is the hard part of what it is that I want? And then you're going to challenge yourself with some really good questions that are going to embrace your integrity. Do I have what it takes to move through this? Am I prepared to engage the difficulty?
Yeah, and I think I like to use we've got these two sides of our brains, where the reptilian brain, which often wants to keep us safe, or maybe don't do that because you might fail, or I don't want to look like an idiot or embarrassed, or so that part of the brain will try and hold you back. But then we've got this other side of the brain, which is that growing brain. We want to explore, we want to develop, but in doing that, it does require that we need to look at our values. We need to look at, well, in order for me to go after what I'm wanting, what are the values I'm going to need? What is the identity? Who am I going to need to be to show up to pursue this thing? So I think getting clarity around that is also just very helpful in moving towards that which you're wanting to go to.
Yeah, so your values and your what's most important to you is definitely a powerful resource in moving in the direction that you want to go to. Yeah, I think the more we can just be open and honest with ourselves, and once I have the realization that failure is part of the journey, and when failure or mistakes become a sign of progress, how about that? If I make mistakes as part of the measure for success, for achievement, those mistakes, those failures begin to lose their toxicity.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then into that I bring my values and those things. So yeah, it's a great question. That sometimes what we want to do, we don't do because we have all the fears or the path, the journey. But if we can embrace that journey, the process is the prize. The process is the joy. We embrace a growth mindset where effort, the path to mastery is through effort. Obstacles and challenges are part of the way. I think I get tripped up because I expect it to be easy, or I want it to be easy. I want it to just sort of be given to me, and no, that is the joy of learning. Is that hard part. It is in the building, and I think the more we can get people to one, connect with their compelling why, but then to have a reality around the journey, the more likely they may be prepared to make the journey.
I totally agree with you, and I also like to just ask that reptilian brain a few questions as to what is the highest good intent that it's trying to give one. So sometimes it is it is the comfort. Okay, so obviously comfort is a value of yours, or it's just trying to get to asking yourself what it is that thing is trying to give you, and then seeing how can you in some way combine it that both sides are actually going for the same value. Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah. Keep talking.
Okay, let me take, say I want a healthy lifestyle. So it's really very important to me, but then I might really enjoy my wine. And then you kind of think, but when I drink so much wine, then I start eating more. But then if I ask that reptilian or that part that's kind of pushing back of trying to live this healthy lifestyle, it's what is that, by having that wine, what is the good intent of that wine? Oh, maybe it just makes me feel more relaxed. Oh, so being relaxed is what the good intent of the wine is. And then it's kind of asking, well, how can I do getting that relaxed feeling in a way that is in an alignment with my values? Does that give you a little bit more clarity as to where I was trying to go?
Yeah, no, I think it does. It's helpful. So sometimes we've got certain needs that need to be engaged, but we're just choosing the wrong vehicle to meet the need. And when I can see the challenges or the sacrifices through a new lens, I might find a greater sense of alignment in my mind and in terms of what it is that I'm doing.
And sorry, Mike, and then where I would go with that is, once you get understanding of what the good intent of the other behavior that's it's trying to give you, is asking that creative part of you of what are perhaps some other ways of getting that same benefit but in a more helpful way.
Yeah, I think it really is about perspective and mindsets, and when we can challenge those, it enables us to walk the path, and it enables us to engage or head towards our destination. And that's one of the soul work that we often need to do, sometimes with somebody helping us, and sometimes in the quietness of being in a car where you're just reflecting and thinking. But yeah, definitely we need alignment. Gandhi, powerful words, he says, happiness is when what I think, say and do are in harmony.
Yeah.
There's a sense of alignment to what it is. Happiness then is when what I see, the destination, and what I'm actually practically applying today is in alignment. And sometimes, like you say, we need to re-see things. We need to see it through a different lens so that we get the energy and the drive to move forward.
And then it's making a decision. Well, what are the steps I need to take to move me to this destination or this dream? And I think the key here, Mark, which you've mentioned before, it's small steps, because I think that's often where we get stuck, is for this reptilian brain, when it feels like, oh, this is daunting or overwhelming, it might be because the step that we're trying to do is actually a leap and it's just too much, so we rather just don't move. So I think it's those tiny incremental steps to get there.
So again, going back to that brilliant quote, when we don't have a path, we lose sight of the destination. We stop dreaming about the destination, and the path is made up of small steps. And that's a great question to always ask yourself: is what is the next best small step that I need to make in the direction of where it is that I want to go? Motion is a powerful thing. When we have motion, we have hope. When we are stuck and we just settle for being steady and stuck, we're going to lose our way.
And it's also just then living a life of every day is the same.
Yes.
And it's just not compliance. But then another thing, Mike, that I think is so important is the visualization. And start visualizing yourself where you're wanting to go or what you're wanting to do. And a powerful way of doing this is actually just before you go to bed, as you're about to sleep, really think of it, see yourself there, feel what it will feel like. And also early hours, when you're first waking up, start with that, picture yourself there, feel it, and then start living from a place of as if you're already there. And I think that gives you that energy, motivation, and things there.
Good stuff. Yeah. So I think there's many thoughts in this, and as you can see, it's about pondering, working it out. and then launching and doing some stuff that is going to make you proud, going to make others proud, going to make a difference to the world in which we live.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. And guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you feel it's something you want to share with your friends or family, please, sharing is caring.